We're back with UFC 329 straight after the White House card. So we've got the McGregor card up next. We're going to be making some bets and predictions just straight off the rip, last minute picks. I've already got quite a few bets selected. I've got around 22 bets on this weekend. There's a lot of small bets there, but we'll be going through the picks again, and I might change my mind. We really need to see the odds first. So let's go with Costa and Durden. That's the first fight on the early prelims. Kicks off 10 o'clock, same time as the football kickoff in England. Um, it's kind of hard to pick Durden at this point. He does look good in some of his fights. Like, we have to be honest, he's not a terrible fighter. The record is not great, but he's not a bad fighter. And he's a pretty good sports bettor from what I can tell. Saw a saw a video of him doing some picks, I think with Wellmaker at one point, and he was giving some good facts. But we're gonna have to go with Costa on this one. I think it's all finishes he's won by in the UFC, or at least on his streak right now. We'll go through the bets here and the odds. So the odds on Costa getting a knockout is 2-1. In my opinion, that's pretty crazy, considering he's a knockout guy. Um, you're gonna have to go with Costa. Let's see what the unders are. So total rounds. If we go under, let's say, under 1.5. Let me pick our man Costa. What's that? Look, you're getting 2-1 money. You might as well go for the knockout. There's a chance it could be a sub. The odds aren't great for the sub, to be quite honest. 3-1, well 4-1 almost. Um, you could just press the knockout on that one. I think myself, I've gone for under 1.5 knockout, if I remember rightly. Not much in it, to be honest. It's not really a fight you want to be betting big on unless you really, really like Costa or Durden. With odds like this, I mean, 2-1 for Durden. Durden's been given a lot of respect in this bout by the odds makers. I don't really see it personally. I do like Durden a lot, but let's go Costa. I think under 1.5 is a very reasonable pick there. So we'll go Costa. Okay, next up, Ryan Gandra and Zachary Reese. I've never seen Gandra fight. I've seen every UFC card, and I can't remember Gandra's fight, so maybe he has. I don't know. Zachary Reese is proven though, and he's not great, but he's a big lad. He's fought UFC people. Um, it's another fight that we're not really going to be that bothered about. A small bet is fine. I think Gandra's not a bad pick here. He's just, I don't know actually. I think I've gone for Gandra. Um, I can't remember who I picked. This isn't really that much of a great fight, to be honest. We know what Zachary Reese is about. He looks sick. He doesn't really fight that sick. And Gandra, who knows, dude. So, you know, knockout over 1.5 for Gandra. Zachary Reese is decent at lasting. I think we should go Gandra knockout over 1.5. 7-1 odds. So you put a tenner, you get 80 quid back. For a fight like this, it's a throwaway fight. Maybe put a couple quid on it. It's not a big deal. So yeah, we'll skip over that. We'll go Gandra under 1.5. No, Gandra over 1.5 knockout. That seems reasonable. Basharat and Gaza. Gaza's new. I think he's riding a 4-fight win streak. Could be completely wrong. I haven't bothered to check this guy that much. At least they got a picture of him though. Basharat's proven he's undefeated. I mean, you'd be pretty crazy to pick Gaza. The odds ain't even that great considering 4.5-1. I mean, it sounds great, but then you look at the odds. I mean, you look at the records: 15-0, 6-1. But look at the decision rate on this guy. That's fucking awful, dude. Basharat's live for a finish here, I think. Statistically speaking, we could go Basharat. Submission's not great either. No, it's a tricky one. Fight to go the distance, yes, that's just a 1-1. That's not bad. So if we add that, so we've got decision 13-10, 13-10, yeah. There's not really much money to be made on this. You could bet on Basharat decision plus money, 13-10. You know, it's not great odds, but a win is a win. I think I've gone for Gaza just because he's the underdog and I don't care much about this fight. You could go Gaza over 1.5. Maybe he does an Ethan Hewen, comes out here, looks really good in his debut against a really good fighter. In my opinion, bet John Garza, put a couple quid on it. If you lose it, it's not a big deal. If he wins, it's a nice underdog win. But there's not much money on Basharat to be made. If you want to make these smaller bets, you can do. It's either Basharat decision, in my opinion, which is not bad money. Yeah, you know what? Let's go Garza, because there's many ways Basharat could win. Garza comes out and he looks terrible. He might get finished. But if he's actually decent, Basharat could win the decision. If he's really decent, he gets the win. So I think it's going to be over 1.5 either way. We'll go for Garza over 1.5. Why not? If we're picking who's just going to win, I'd probably pick Basharat. But if we're going by bets as well, we've got to make sure there's profit in there. Or else there's no point in betting, dude. I see a lot of these guys on YouTube saying, oh, bro, get this guy at plus 110 odds and this and that. Like, yeah, it's cool. But that's not, you know, I don't get excited for that unless it's like a guaranteed win. Super guaranteed. This is an unknown guy. Like, you know, if Basharat was fighting someone, what weight class is he? Like 135? I completely forgot what Basharat fights at. There's like two of them. What's he fighting at? Doesn't have the weight here. Oh, 135, yeah. So he's bantamweight. If he was fighting someone else at bantamweight, I can't really name any. I don't know any unnamed guys at bantamweight. You know, if he's not unknown, but if he was fighting Yanez or Cody Garbrandt, yeah, yeah, the small odds make sense. Nice, but he's fighting an unknown. Anything could happen. Let's not make the well make a mistake there. Let's go for this next one. Damian Pinas versus Almeida, Cesar Almeida. I'm going for Almeida. Pinas is not a bad pick. You know, it's got some decent odds on there, 17-4 for a decision. I know people don't like betting decisions, but it happens a lot in MMA. You just got to think that, man. He's got 100% KO rate in UFC. And I hate to say it, but no one stays 100% knockout rate. No one. I can't remember if there is anyone right now, but even Ngannou had sloppy decision against Derek Lewis back in the day. Like, come on. Like, nothing is impossible. Decisions happen a lot. Cesar Almeida decision is very good, 8-1. 9-1 if you get the boost right here. It's a really good pick. I forgot what I've gone for, to be honest. I think I've just gone for a Cesar Almeida money line, 2-1. Because Almeida's not that bad. He's not great, but he's not bad. And Pinas is unproven. I think he beat Wes Schultz in his last fight, which is, you know, it's so. I'm gonna go Cesar Almeida, just to win money line, but decision 9-1. A tenner on that, 100 quid back. You put £1, that's your tenner back. I mean, these fights, if you're a big bettor, I'm normally quite a big bettor, especially on the prelims. This time around, I'm not, especially with the football on. And these fights ain't that great. I mean, they're good fights. These are good fights, but they're not good enough to stop me watching the World Cup right now. So, small bet, and I'll stick it on Cesar Almeida. I'll probably put 250, 3 quid on him to get a decision. That's 35, 40 quid, something like that back. Or you could even go, I think I've gone £6 or £8 on the money line. I forgot exactly what I've gone for, but it's not a great odd. It's not about that. It's about just making little wins on the prelims, stacking up to the main card. Next bout we've got is an interesting one, actually. I know people don't like female MMA. In my opinion, women's MMA is a great place to make money. I've never made a huge win, but I've made medium wins, which I think is perfectly fine. For women's MMA, it gives you something to look forward to, makes the bout exciting, even if you get a boring women's fight. If they're scrambling for position, it makes it exciting if you got a little bet on that. So we'll sprinkle on Tracy Cortez, even money, pretty crazy in my opinion. And you know what I did like? It's off topic, but the outside drama I like for Tracy Cortez, because before she was kind of like, you'd probably see her as a bit of a, I don't want to say sleazy, but all you'd hear about her is, you know, her dating or the fires or this and that or how hot she is or whatever. But since we've had a couple of them videos come out where she's all crazy talking about how she wants to fight some bitch on the fucking sidewalk and she's going crazy, and she might legit be crazy according to Ortega and Pereira, I kind of like that. Maybe she is genuinely crazy. I don't want a woman that's, you know, hottie thinking, I'm hot, this and that. Like, I don't. That's cool, but if you got a crazy bitch, I think that works in her favor, and she's very skillful. I'm going to go Tracy Cortez, not to go the distance. I know it's crazy. 100% decision rate against Wang Kong, who is fairly decent, especially on the feet. Definitely better than Cortez on the feet. But I think people forget, man. Look at this. Even money? Even money odds? You could even go money line Tracy Cortez, no problem. But we're not really going to be watching this to scrape by with a little bit of a win. We're not even really going to be watching this. England game might still be on. I don't know what time this is going to be. Tracy Cortez fight to not go the distance, 8-1 right now, BET365. Them odds are nice. You can KO 16-1, very unlikely. Sub 10-1, pretty crazy. But just go to 8-1. It could be a club and sub, could be a submission. I think it will be a sub personally. Not bad odds. Not bad odds. Anything's possible. Now we get onto the standard prelims. They were just the fight pass prelims. What are they? 4 fights on the fight pass prelims? 5 fights on the fight pass prelims. That's insane. That's actually insane. Wow. Okay. Got a banger next fight as well. Luke Riley, Kai Kamaka the third. Yeah, I really like Luke Riley in this one. I like the finish, but you can judge by the stats here, 50-50, decision or KO. Submission's live because he trains with Paddy. I know it doesn't mean much, his own skill set and whatnot, but training parts matter, So submission's live too. 18-1 is pretty crazy. I don't think it should be that. He's never really showed his submission game that much, but at all. I think it's all knockouts and decisions. But there's a first time for everything, okay? So submission's not bad, but if we're being realistic, I like Luke Riley finish. You could go Luke Riley finish and decision. Knockout and decision. What's knockout and decision? It's not that bad. 5-12. Yeah, I spoke too early. It's not great. You're going to have to pick one. I'll either go with just finish, which right now is 39-20. That's plus money right there. That's not bad at all. That's better odds than submission or decision, which is crazy to me. KO or submission? Yeah, I'll go with finish, Luke Riley. Kai Kamaka's good. Everyone keeps saying, oh, he's good, he's really sick, and this and that. Come on, bro. Let's be real now. If he wins this weekend, maybe I'll change my tone, but we're going with Luke Riley on this one. Not even because he's English. But that is also a big factor. Let's go. For Luke Riley. I want to say early as well. Nice little parlay you could pick. Luke Riley, Paddy Pimblett, both finish. And or you could go Luke Riley money line, Paddy Pimblett finish, and England to qualify. I like the finishes from Luke Riley and Paddy with the England to qualify. I think that's a nice little bet right there. I think personally I've gone for Luke Riley decision or knockout, and Paddy Pimblett finish, and England to qualify. I think the odds are decent on that. You're not going to make crazy money. It's not an ultra bet, but it's a nice safe parlay in my opinion. As long as Hurling doesn't come out and fucking get jiggy with it. Next one, we've got Cody and Yanez. Oh man, I like Cody so much. I like if you're like me and you've been watching the sport for a solid 10 years, maybe more. We grew up with these guys. We grew up watching Cody. I remember watching the embedded for Cody, where he was like 25. He was exercising outside of his garage, and he was saying like, "This is what I'm working for. This is the main goal. This and that." And then he started on Cruz. I've seen a few people, even gurus, say like, "Oh, it was a 3-2 decision. This and that." Like, I get it, and yeah, when you actually watch the fight back, it's not as impressive. But that's because recency bias with the Cruz losses and whatnot, and we saw Cruz lose to fucking Chito Vera, dude. Like, but if we go back in time and we put ourselves in that position again, watching that fight, that was crazy. That was unreal. He was looking sick in that fight. At the point, Cruz was undefeated, untouchable. I think he was undefeated. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. But untouchable, dude. Oh no, I think he lost his first fight to Faber, right? I think he was 1-0 with Faber, and then he won twice. I could be wrong. I can't remember. I think maybe he 3-0'd Faber. Who knows? But I like Cody here, dude. I like Yanez a lot. He should have won that fight he had with I want to say Cody Steele, but it ain't Cody Steele. It's the blonde dude. He's actually pretty good now. I forgot what his name is, man. He's pretty decent, but he had a draw in that. I think he should have won that one. Yanez is really good, man. Yanez is really, really good. High knockout potential. I think Garbrandt is more of a decision guy. I know he's got loads of knockouts, but nowadays, and especially in the Cruz fight, looking slick. I know what people say, like you can't trust Cody, especially after his last fight where he won basically because he got shot in the nuts, and it was so bad that the points taken won him the fight. Won money on that, by the way. Let's go. But look, if you're being realistic, you're gonna go Yanez knockout, 20 to 23. It's not quite even money, but you're gonna be making money on that. Um, but I'm going Garbrandt, dude. If you like me and you've watched him for 10 years, we grew up with these guys. This could be his last fight. Do I really want to say, yeah, I didn't bet on Cody in his last fight? You know? No, I don't. I did relegate him to a crumb bet though. So it's a tiny bet for me on Cody. I've gone for Cody just to win money line. Very small bet. If I win, it's like 15 or 20 quid. Like most of these prelim bets, we want to aim for at least £15 payout from each fight. And then the particular fights we like, we go for bigger bets. But minimum 15 for each fight if we get it right. Nice. This one is a very minimum bet. I had quite a bit of money on Cody for a decent bet, and I took it all off and sprinkled on him. You know, when you're being realistic, it's hard to pick Cody. But we're doing it for old time's sake. If you're smart, Yanez over 1.5, which is a great little bet booster there. That could definitely happen. I think Cody can last. He's a good fighter. People don't give him credit for how good he is, really, skillfully. That Sun Sao knockout is one of the best. It's aged so well. It looks good. It's not aged well in terms of a Sun Sao's ability getting any better, but it's aged well in terms of just how sick that knockout looks. You could watch that knockout at any point and be like, wow, that's such a unique knockout. Leaning against the fence and then leaning again, bang. Dude, we're going for Cody. Cody moneyline. Yanez is probably going to starch him, but we're going with the old dog on this one. Oh, weird fight. Weird fight. Okay, I will say this right now. Minus 2,500 odds. That's stupid. Look at that. 1 to 25 for Gable Stevenson. He probably will win. Fair enough. It's MMA though. He's 3-0, and he's that big of an underdog. I mean, that big of a favourite, sorry. I don't like it. Look, we're not going to be making any money betting on Gable, unless you want to bet on decision, 11 to 1. Submission 7 to 2, 3.5 to 1. Very decent pick too. You could go submission, which you could get some money for. Submission's not a bad pick. Decision 11 to 1. You could even go decision and submission. Score them into one with a double chance. Let's see what the double chance is saying. 1 to 27 to 10 plus money, 3 to 1 almost. That's good. You could make money on Gable Stevenson. You're not making money on the knockout, really. There's no point betting on that. But I'm betting on Alicia Ellison. 11 to 1 odds. You put what, £2 down, you make 25, almost 25 quid. You put a fiver down, you're making very decent money. The likelihood of it happening is obviously very low. It's not 2,500 fucking minus low. You know what I'm saying? It's not 25 to 1 odds. Like, come on now. Let's go, dude. We're picking Alicia Ellison. I'm going to be pushing my key through to him, Goku style. And we'll see if all of you guys put your key into him. Maybe he wins, who knows. Gable Stevenson probably will get the KO, flash KO. You could go under half a round, I suppose. The odds are fucking terrible, dude. Look at that, 1 to 6 for under 1.5. Yeah, dude, it's not even worth betting on this fight. I would just watch it for the enjoyment to see Gable Stevenson become, you know, a proper UFC athlete, or sprinkle a tiny little bit on Ellison. You won't even know it's gone out of your bank. It can be that small, and maybe you win. Go for moneyline Ellison. If you're feeling brave, knock out Ellison, 20 to 1. Anything could happen. It's MMA. These guys are, well, they're not exactly heavyweights, let's be real. They're not Tom Aspinall, Cyril Gane looking, but anything could happen at this weight. Next, we've got Krylov and Whitaker. You know, I like Whitaker in this fight a lot. I can see why he's the favourite. Whitaker KO under 1.5 is great. Krylov typically doesn't go to 64% decision rate. Oh wait, yeah, my bad, I'm reading. Whitaker, yeah, 16% decision rate. So Krylov going to a decision is low. Personally, I like Whitaker decision. I can't lie. I also really like Whitaker over 1.5. Whitaker over 1.5, what are we saying? What are we saying, baby? Total rounds. So 10 to 21. And if we're betting on Whitaker, 6-4 plus money over 1.5. I think Whitaker can stretch it over 1.5 and then get the win. You could, if you're really brave, go Whitaker knockout over 1.5. 25-4. Very good odds. Yeah, we're going Whitaker. Whatever way you place the bet, Whitaker's going to win. In my opinion. Imagine Krylov comes out and starches it. I'd ruin my fucking night, dude. Again, it's a pretty small bet on Rob. I had a lot of money on Rob at the start. I'm just not that excited for the fight. I thought I was. I was really excited for the Rob fight, but when you look into the card, look at this McKinney King Green fight. Now this is way more exciting in my opinion. Loads of money to be made on Green and McKinney here. There's a bet I always place, which is decision for McKinney. I always place that bet because statistically, it will happen one day. It will happen one day, dude. Like, maybe not, maybe not anytime soon. But King Green 15-1 decision, crazy. People had Green as a decision maker at one point. Look at him, 58%, 56% decision. People call him a decisionator until recently, where he started getting some of the old man knockouts. 15-1 King Green decision, that's a great pick. 28-1 McKinney, just put a couple quid on it, dude. One day it's gonna happen. Fuck it, it could be this day. But my favorite pick for this one is King Green over 1.5, which I think I've not even placed a bet on that, and I probably will. I've got a bet on McKinney over 1.5, which is also a great bet. Let's see what that is. So McKinney over 1.5, if I remember rightly. Oh, there it is right there. Super bet, 12-1. Dude, that could happen. McKinney's got a second round finish before, a few times. So that's a great pick. I also like Green over 1.5, which is also a great pick. 17-4 odds. We're talking brilliant odds on this fight. Unless it's a first round finish. But McKinney, first round finish, 9-5. If he gets a first round knockout, you could even go. Let's see here. Let's get in the lab. Let's alchemy this. Say I want under 1.5, and I want McKinney at KO or submission. Plus money, 21-20. If you are a real big believer in McKinney doing what he always does, 21-20, slight plus money, just even money, do that. That's a really good bet. I'm tempted to place that myself, but I really like Green here. The way he's talking and the presses and that. I like Green here. I think Green's going to school him. I think Green's going to make it look very technical. I don't think Green gets the knockout, to be honest. I think he can drag it to a decision. I think the 15-1 odds here are pretty crazy. And if you lose your bet, you lose your bet. Big deal. Look at the odds. Let's go. 15-1. We'll go Bobby Green decision. I think I placed that bet when the odds weren't that great. I might even replace and double down on that. I don't know. That's a great bet. That is a great bet. These are some firefights, dude. I think we're on the main card now, right? Yeah, we've got to be on the main card. So Royval, Lonnie Kavanagh. People aren't giving Royval the respect that he deserves, in my opinion. Kavanagh's great. He beat Moreno, which is a sick win, but in hindsight, Moreno's... I mean, he can bring it back, of course, but I think in the past couple fights he's declined a little bit. He's not had the skill set. I could be wrong, dude. Just, I'm not doing any tape study for this or anything, because a lot of these guys are big names. So we can kind of remember and we'll go off of memory. And yeah, sometimes we're wrong with memory, but I like Royval, dude. I really like Royval here. Royval being quite a decent underdog, he's almost 2-1. He's tested against the best, literally against the best people. Tested against Van, tested against Moreno, Pantoja, Come on, dude. This guy's tested. Battle tested as you can get. Lonier is good, dude, but come on, dude. I know Charles Johnson gets sick knockouts against the best. He's basically Michael Johnson at the small division. But come on now. Let's be real. Brendan Royval, decision. 4-1. Very good odds. But I like the money line here, to be honest. Royval hasn't got a finish recently, I don't think. At least I can't remember one, so he's overdue. 3-1, no, 2.5-1. Finish 19-4. Yeah. Yeah, I think either a finish for a Royval or money line is great. Kavanagh's sick. You could go, if you like Kavanagh, knockout under 1.5. That's got a special price. That's really good. To be on the safe side, I would go just standard knockout for Kavanagh, or I would go Royval money line, personally. On these higher, bigger main card bets, you're going to be putting more money on anyway, so money line bet makes sense, in my opinion. Okay, next we've got Corey Sandhagen, Batista. This is a great fight. This is a really great fight. I like Batista at plus money, sorry, 23-20. It's decent odds. Sandhagen's great though. Looking at this, I had Sandhagen at the start of the week. But Batista is really good, dude. He did fairly well against Umar. I mean, he obviously clearly lost the fight, but it wasn't, wasn't terrible. I'm going to go for Batista. Batista money line is great. Batista finish is nice, and I know people see Batista as a decision guy, and he is. But I don't mind that. A finish for Batista, that's great. What's that, 7-1? 7.5-1? I'll go Batista finish, or just Batista money line. I like the money line. Let's go for money line. If you're a Sandhagen fan, I think over 1.5 would be great. There's a knockout special bet for under 1.5 here, but let's not push the boat out. I think you go either Cody over 1.5 or you go Batista money line. Batista money line is nice right now. At the final two. Paddy versus Benoit. Right, I could take the nationality bias out of it because Paddy hates England, even though he fights for England. So there's no bias. This will be unbiased. I think Paddy wins by finish. I think Paddy makes this look violent and quick. I think the skill level is too crazy. It's akin to Moicano, if not more. Paddy's got more physicality than Moicano, but I don't think he's got the IQ of Moicano. So you lose a bit there. But I like Paddy finish here. Paddy finish, I think, is still plus money too. Paddy finish 21-10, over 2-1 odds. Look, if you want to go Benoit, I don't even know what you should pick. Probably a finish, I guess. The Benoit decision 17-4 is crazy. That could definitely happen. He's not had a decision in the UFC, but it's the first time for everything. But for me, I think Paddy Pimblett, finish. Just stick some money on that. I've got some decent bets on this one. There's many different ways you could go. There's many different parlays you could pick with this as well. The Luke Riley parlay, that's great. You could even do Luke Riley, Kavanagh, and Paddy. All finishes, that'd be a great parlay. To be honest with you, I think Luke Riley, Kavanagh decision, and Paddy finish would be a beautiful parlay. We'll check the odds for that in a second. What was I looking for here? Nothing. Yeah, Paddy finish. Let's go, dude. Just makes sense. Just watch their fights back. Just makes more sense. This is a tough one. The best one. I like McGregor here. I really like McGregor here. I didn't bet on him early when the odds were really good. He did open up a very big underdog. Now the odds aren't so crazy. Still, I don't mind the money line. Money line's a great bet. I like McGregor finish. McGregor KO is great. I really like McGregor decision. McGregor decision underrated. People forget, man. Styles make fights, dude. For real. Holloway decision is crazy. 23-4. If you're a Holloway fan, that's such a great bet. That's a beautiful bet. Submission for McGregor, 20-1. I think that's really underrated. Personally, I know it's crazy to say. I like that. I like that bet a lot, especially against a man like Holloway. There's so many great ways you could bet this fight. I'm going McGregor personally. The money's with McGregor. If he loses, you had a chance to bet on McGregor in one of his last fights, if not the last fight. And if he wins, you're living back in 2016. Oh, it's a win-win. It's a win-win, man. We're hitting McGregor. We're hitting McGregor money line. We're hitting McGregor submission. We're hitting McGregor decision. And we might hit Holloway decision safety bet. Because I think that's a decent bet. Sure, he could get the knockout. Holloway to get the knockout over McGregor is pretty crazy. The odds for McGregor are like very, very strange considering. I get it, he's been away, but skill is skill. The man was born with skill, so we have to go McGregor on this one. We're gonna back it. We're old school fans. We want the old school guys to win again. Max is also an old school guy. This is a really good matchup for everyone that's a veteran fan. But we're going McGregor, and my favourite bet is probably McGregor decision. Also, McGregor over 1.5 is great. McGregor knockout under 1.5. Under 2.5 is 14-1. So if you think McGregor's going to get the KO, oh, that's over 2.5. Sorry, that's still not bad. It could go long. That's a great bet. 150 quid back for £10. But we're going to be hitting mainly the one I really like, which is stupid to say, but I really like McGregor decision. I don't know what it is about it. The odds seem weird for that kind of pick. Same with the Holloway. Holloway decision is lovely, and if I was backing Holloway, that is the pick. That's such a great bet for the odds. But we're gonna go Connor decision. Wonderful. We'll see what happens after the night, of course.